and welcome back to Let's Play Breath of Fire 2. Last time we reached Highfort, which, as it turns out, is actually Sten's homeland. Let's go talk to Sten real quick. He doesn't seem to be too eager to be here, even though he's been away for a while. Hey, get back here. Okay. That's all he has to say. Shupke, huh? Well, I'm sure that doesn't matter at all. So it looks like we'll be using a three-man team this time around. I actually didn't make mention of this statue over here. This is a small dragon statue. These allow you to save your game, but you cannot switch your party members using them. Bit of an odd little thing. You honestly don't see those too much throughout the game, so I mean, I guess there are situations where you use them and the game thinks it would be abusive if you could switch party members around. I never really thought too much of it. I can only think of about 4 of them that are in the game. 2 of which are actually in this area. Well, connected to this area, I should say. A war plan meeting being held right now. You're not gonna stop us? Well, okay. What's going on here? This is strange. I don't think we can run into any situation where we see war involving the people of Highfort. I wonder who they're fighting. Shupke does not seem to be very considerate of her soldiers. She does not demand as much respect as Sten does, at least not as much genuine respect. Hey, wait. I'm afraid I can't agree to that. Alright, well, we're gonna have to get involved here. I mean, we didn't hear any of that. We're here for a flute. No, we totally didn't hear. We didn't hear about how you plan on conquering the world. Such a formal way of putting that. Well. No, we heard the whole plan, but we're just here to get a flute, honestly. Well, looks like the situation is reversed. Instead of just losing Sten, Sten is all we have left at the moment. Alright, sounds good to me. I'm assuming he means watch out for Shupke. Seems that the people do not think too much of Shupke. And demons have penetrated the Highfort castle. What a strange situation. Oh, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Sometimes you just instinctively try to go left. Well, the shopkeepers are here now. We've got an inn. I think Sten is... yeah, he's at full. No sense in doing that. Got an item shop here. Well, I'm pretty good on everything. We don't need that. Well, we've got more pressing matters, unfortunately, rather than reconnecting with Sten's old allies. Trubo? Where is he, though? Oh, he's a bit high up. Is that the best insult you could come up with on the fly? Looks like Sten's friend isn't too happy about his faked death. And we have a one-on-one battle with Trubo. Or Torubo. Now, this fight can be pretty tricky if you haven't been using Sten at all, because while he doesn't hit terribly hard, as you can see, he can attack twice. And if you haven't been using Sten too much since you got the option to bench him, this portion of the game is fairly obnoxious. And yes, we will be getting into some dungeon areas with just Sten. Actually, I kind of made a mistake at some point. I accidentally sold off my silver dagger, and that actually would have come in handy to have a holy weapon for Sten at some point. Now, I do want to keep Sten's health high, because he's still in his shamanized state, as you can see, and that's a pretty significant 50% boost to his attack power, so I do not want to lose that if I can avoid it. Though I wonder how Sten survived such a suicidal attack plan. Trubo really doesn't seem to think much of his decision there. No, you said worthless monkey. I don't know why that text was in red. Maybe it was a really pointed insult in Sten's culture. Alright, now we've got a gimmick battle. So that first fight, as you saw, just ends after a certain amount of time passes. This one, we have to do enough damage to defeat Trubo in 3 turns, which is actually slightly easier said than done, because he likes to do this. Let's see. I'm going to take a bit of a risk here and try to hit him with Flame. But yeah, as you can see, he hits much harder now. And unfortunately, I can't really stop to heal, because we have just enough turns to defeat him. But there we go. Luckily, I managed to keep Sten's shamanized form right now. In my last playthrough, I just barely defeated Trubo, but lost the form, and I didn't consider it worth it to load my save to try and get it back. Well, at least it's nice that Sten is able to reconnect with his old ally here. Yeah, we were getting some pretty bad vibes from Shupke, although I suppose we would have solidified those feelings when she opened that trapdoor on us. Geez, Sten, can't you focus on anything else? What even are the powers? You know, I don't think it's ever elaborated what exactly Shupke is planning, or at the very least, it's never really explicitly said what kind of weapon she plans on using. Hmm. I don't know, most of the soldiers didn't really seem to like Shupke all that much. I think it would be pretty easy to get them on our side if we revealed her deception, or at the very least that she wasn't acting in the country's best interest. Now, Sten told Trubo to go this way, but we actually want to make a quick pit stop in here because here's the other small dragon statue and a healing pool. Even though it's just Sten right now, it still acts as though there is a they to utilize that. And yeah, Trubo made reference to a monster in the road. What he meant there is that there's demons or, you know, random encounters in this area. And we are just Sten right now, so this is not particularly fun. Especially since I accidentally sold the silver dagger, so any undead or spirit enemies I come across are going to be even more annoying to kill. Or, well, specifically spirit monsters. I don't think undead reduce regular attack damage. An oddly steampunky aesthetic to this castle, though. Alright, now this is where we can actually start encountering some enemies. Ooh, a treasure. 1,000 coins is pretty okay. Oh, now that's unfortunate. I've been getting pretty badly beat up with the critical hits. I've noticed that some enemies do have an exceptionally high critical hit rate. I don't know if they have like a luck stat or if it's just an intrinsic quality that they have. And there goes the shamanized form. And there goes my damage. Wow. Well, this is going to make this a lot harder. It also means that I basically can't really stick around to fight anything. We're just going to have to run away from everything now. Yeah, I don't know if the past couple videos where I've attempted to utilize him in my party have really demonstrated it very well, but Sten is not a particularly great character. He's not the worst character in the game. I'd still say that Spar and John are probably weaker than him overall, for most of the game anyway. And there is actually a very brief period of, well, relatively brief period of the game where Sten is really strong, but for most of the game his benefits kind of cancel out his strengths and his weaknesses are kind of working against each other, or I suppose it should be more accurate to say that some of his strengths cancel out his other strengths. Now, one of the big strengths that Sten has is that he has a very expansive equipment pool. Ooh, this is bad. He can almost equip as much stuff as Ryu can, and his, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, that can happen. Well, there goes half our money. Maybe I should have... That was probably what the bank was for, so in case you get unlucky like that, you can just dump your money off. That was also an enemy where it would have been nice to have the silver dagger, because instead of trying to run away, I could have just hit him and killed him. Granted, if that freeze spell hit, that would have still been the end there. Or rather, You know, I'm really tripping over my words right now. Anyways, let's get back to how Sten is not a very good character. He can equip a very large amount of stuff, some great armor and decently powerful weapons, but his armor is largely the same as the stuff that Ryu can equip, and Ryu's armor has a pretty significant agility penalty, and Sten is definitely faster than basically all the other characters in your party besides Cat, but he's not that much faster when you factor in his equipment. As you saw in the past couple videos, he outsped the rest of the party, but he wasn't able to outspeed any of the enemies. Which is why Cat I generally find to be a better character, because in trade-off for slightly worse defense and not insignificantly lower HP. Cat is much stronger and much faster, so she has a much more pointed role as a supporting character, as she can get off healing items in a way that Sten can't. Namely, she can heal your allies before the bosses become an issue. Oh, there's our party. We need to find a way to get in there. Granted, our party members are not exactly the strongest in the game, and the fact that I've lost Sten's shamanized form really blows. Because guys like this, I can't even hurt without that offense boost. It really is that significant. Although having the silver dagger definitely would abate some of these issues. I really should have checked to see if I had that before I came here, but I just assumed I did. Thing is I can't recall when I sold it. I know before I stopped recording parts, I would have remembered to hang on to it. But maybe after I picked up recording the game and I was clearing out my inventory a little bit, I probably got carried away and accidentally sold the silver dagger without thinking about it. Yeah, well, you gotta roll with the punches sometimes. There's a lot of soldiers over there. Wonder if there's something going on. Alright. Can we please get my party back soon? I really don't like dealing with all these enemies. Though you may have noticed that we've only been running into enemy formations that have one enemy in them. That's a little thing they do to ease up on you here. As long as you just have Sten, there will only be one enemy. And we've found Shupke and the princess. Military nation, true, but world conquerors? No. They only fight for causes that are just, I suppose. Are we getting some philosophical differences here? How does Shupke even know who Sten is? I mean, I guess she could have heard of him through reputation, but I wouldn't think she'd be able to recognize him on the spot. Oh, okay, so she doesn't really recognize him. Well, failure. But hopefully that drops him where I think it will. You should never assume that, Shupke. Things can go badly for you. Alright, we've got our friends back. Aw, come on, guys. He's trying to be genuine here. Wait, what? I can't tell if that was a mistranslation or if he was trying to make a joke. But the party is back together. Unfortunately, Sten he's not exactly a point character anymore. Actually, let's take a look at our stats. So, oh man, that dropped his offense by a ton. He was definitely over 100 before. Let's see. Yeah, oh geez, Jean is stronger than him right now. He's the weakest character right now. Okay, poor Sten. I probably should have invested in a new knife for him. Doesn't help that he's also got the worst defense by a pretty significant margin. Well, I suppose this is the ideal time to have Jean and Spar in the party, because Sten is worse than them right now. Alright, let's get on our way. What knife do I have him equipped with, anyway? Oh, I have him equipped with the silver dagger. Well, that explains why I didn't find it in my inventory. Alright, so let's see how this goes when we have our actual party together. Of course, it goes a lot better when he just uses a cold spell instead of freeze. Actually, due to a somewhat interesting way that the spells ended up working in their tiering, freeze is actually the strongest single targeting spell in the game. but not the strongest spell in general. Let's see, does Spar have Cure 1? Yes. I do want to conserve my health BLs. If I use them for scratches like that, they'll be gone through pretty quickly. But Spar honestly doesn't have that many things to use his AP with, so you may as well use it on what little healing he does have. Yes, I'm aware that Spar looks very much like a girl right now. I would say that's pretty disappointing right there, but he can't really do much from the back row, even if his offense wasn't tanked. You know, I'm wondering if that formula I read was correct, because I was reasonably certain when I read it, it said that Jab launched a normal physical attack against one enemy, then against all other enemies it would just launch one that was reduced in attack power by about 15, I believe? But those were pretty close together, 49 and 43. Eh. So I've been talking about how Jean can be really good later, and I don't think I've completely elaborated on that. Basically, since we've now actually shown off the transformation aspect of shamanization, later in the game, Jean gets access to a shaman form that is far and away one of the best in the game. He can get it through fusing with one shaman, and it gives him very significant stat boosts to all his stats. For some of his stats, like agility, they're so low naturally that it won't help that much, but his not insubstantial strength gets boosted to very high levels when he's in his transformed state, and he becomes pretty good at that point. Also helping him is that he has some... You know what? I should equip him with the Soul Sword, while I'm thinking about it. And yes, you can switch your equipment around freely while in battle. But he also has access to some very powerful equipment in the game that, while not necessarily specific to him, it is stronger than that of other characters. Ooh, they're gonna do some damage. Yikes. Yeah, Freeze is pretty dangerous at this point in the game, in case you didn't notice. Wow, that is a lot of critical hits. Well, so much for the Soul Sword being helpful. I probably should give it to Jeff instead, but eh. I want Jean to at least have the illusion that he's helping. Alright, and use Cure. What spells does Spar have right now? Not really anything I care about. Agility up, I seen it sometimes erroneously stated that agility up doesn't do anything. Agility up actually does work, and on a character like Jeff, who's not particularly fast, but not exactly slow either, it can bring him up to a pretty decent level, because it just increases your agility by 50%. But agility down, that is straight up bugged, it doesn't do anything. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I could be getting that backwards. I honestly don't recall. I know one of them works correctly. They're not terribly useful buffs or debuffs anyway. Debuffs rarely ever work, and increasing a character's agility by a multiplicative factor in this game just doesn't really get you too many results. Alright, I'm just gonna auto-battle this one. I'll start cutting out encounters now, but I've just had a few things I want... Oh, man, I hate it when I do that. So unprofessional. Well, gonna have to scrap the recording now. That's it for this video, guys. Nah, I'm just kidding. Since I've never used Jean too much, he does have a very high luck stat, so I'm wondering if by the end of the game he might get those critical hits very often. That'd definitely be something in his favor. Oh, actually, this is a new enemy, wow. As soon as I say I'm going to cut out the encounter, the new enemy's right here. May as well have Sten use Flame. I actually do have a few Wisdom Fruits, so you know, nothing else that could go to use on him. I largely bought those just so I can top off Jeff's AP before I get into a boss fight. Wisdom Fruits are kinda strange in this game. Basically, they increase your AP by 20, but they also take away 20 HP. I'm not exactly sure why they made it work like that, but that's what they went with. And can't say no to a free Spark spell, even if it isn't particularly strong. He'll do good damage against these guys. Oh, I don't think Spar has Cure Poison, so this could be a little obnoxious if we have to go on for a while like this. I am glad I did Spring to do the level grinding for Jean and Spar, because if I didn't and I was just dragging them along this dungeon, they would be getting destroyed and not doing anything. Alright, so yeah, we just have Cure 1. But I do have a few antidotes right here. Can't take too many more Poison Breaths, though. Or it would be less than ideal, if nothing else. Man, Jean's jab ability just is somewhat of an ironic one, because the enemies that would be worth using it on, either they just don't take enough damage from it, or he's too slow to get it before the rest of the party would go. Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't a party that can do much outside of launching physical attacks. If Sten had a bit more AP, he could throw out more flame spells, but as it stands, he can only use 2 before he needs a Wisdom Fruit to top his AP off. Speaking of which, and there, as you can see, it topped his AP off, but it took 20 HP to go along with it. I honestly couldn't tell you why they function like that. I guess it seemed like a reasonable way to handle it at the time, or balance it. One thing I should mention about shamanized forms, again, I forget if I mentioned this already or not, it's been so long, and, well, I couldn't be bothered to watch my own videos, but whenever you level up while in a shamanized form, it does not rerun the calculations to see what your stats should be, so the boost you have is still based on what you got before you leveled up. Initially made the fusion, as I was trying to say. By the way, I realize that's a pretty good way you can tell if a character is slow or not. If they can't move before Jeff does, then they are a slow character. What is Spar's agility like right now? Let's see, Vigor is 49, and actually, her Vigor, or his, sorry, was 41, I think it's... No, it was 49, and then the Vigor was 49, and the Agility was 41. It messes me up, because I would think that Agility would be the base statistic, and then Vigor would be the derived statistic, but it's the other way around, which I just think is a tad strange. Also, that battle had a Sea Sludge in it, so good amount of experience for us there. Ooh. Well, it looks like we have a way out here, but I will save that for the next video. This one's been going on for a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and please, have a nice day. I hope to see you next time.